Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a November book haul for you guys. So I have acquired 7 books that I want to share with y'all. But before we go ahead and get on into the haul, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box below for links to all of my social media, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways. The first book I'm going to be hauling is The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. This is Mistborn book 7, or Second Era Mistborn book 4, and it's the final book, as far as I know, in the Mistborn series. This was gifted to me by my good friend and subscriber Andre, so thank you so much. It was one of my most anticipated 2022 releases, and I might have already started reading it already. But in this book, we are continuing to follow Wax, Wayne, Steris, and Marasi as they continue to hunt the Set. The Set was a kind of criminal organization that was led by Wax's late uncle and his sister Telsin, and they are trying to breed allomantic powers into people. One day, Marasi and Wayne uncover these weapons of mass destruction that have been stockpiled by the Set, and they also learn that the Set has infiltrated the Elendel Senate, and there's a lot of corruption going on, and they have to call upon the help of the god Harmony to help deal with this conflict. And we get more information about the god Trell that the people outside of Elendel, in addition to the Set, worship. So they're trying to uncover more about this god, and there are some links to that part of the plot and the overall Cosmere. I really enjoyed the Bands of Mourning. As this series has gone on, the Second Era Mistborn, I've enjoyed more and more of it, and that's kind of rare for a series, in my opinion, to get better as the books get like later on in the plot, but this is the case with Brandon, so I'm super excited to finish this and see how he wraps up such an epic series. Next, I have 3 books by the author Robin Cook. Robin Cook is a medical thriller author that has been around for years and years and years, and a lot of his books have been made into movies also, and it's a genre that I wanted to dip my toes into, so I decided to pick up 3 of his books used, and the first one is Nano. This one was published in 2013, and because he's been writing for so long, I wanted to choose books that were fairly recent because I wanted the medical technology and the medicine to be more up to date than something from like the 80s. And this book deals with nanotechnology, which is something that I think is really interesting personally. And I have read this book already. I have finished it. And if you guys want me to do a full review, let me know, because I did not like it. I did not like it at all. I was so disappointed. And that's kind of hard for me because I bought 3 of his books. And for me, if I read a book and I don't like the book, I'm very reluctant to read another book by that same author. So now I'm like, well, crap, I have 2 other books to read by him. But in all fairness, out of the 3 that I purchased, this was the lowest rated one. And I even told myself, this is the lowest rated one. You might have to give him another chance if you don't like it. Anyway, I digress. This book, we follow a girl named Pia, and it's technically the second book in a series, but it's one of those series where, you know, it's a different story each book. It's not a continuing story, and the author does a good job recapping what happened in the previous book. Anyway, we're following a girl named Pia, and Pia has like a medical degree, but she's not a doctor, and she ends up getting hired by this nanotechnology company in Colorado, and she is working on a way to cure infection using nanotechnology, but she starts to uncover weird things about the company she's working for called Nano. And she learns that they are actually doing like human experimentation with nanotechnology, and it's putting a lot of people at risk with what they're trying to do. And she ends up finding out, you know, who's behind it and how the CEO is kind of working in cahoots with this Chinese organization to, I want to say, almost enhance humans to make them better using nanotechnology, but at, you know, a huge cost. So I'm not going to really go into why I didn't like this book, but if you guys want me to do a review, just let me know. The next book I have is Pandemic, and in this one we follow a medical examiner named Jack, and one day he examines a woman who basically collapsed dead on the subway, and as he is examining her, he realizes that she's had a heart transplant, but ironically the DNA of the transplanted heart matches her own. Not only that, but what this woman actually died from was a virus, and that virus is very similar to the 1918 influenza virus that killed so many people. And Jack is fearful that there might be another pandemic with this virus. So he starts to uncover the mystery, and this leads him to this gene editing bioengineering company that is kind of involved in the organ transplant market. I don't know how all of this is going to fit together, but what captured me was the bioengineering gene editing type technology. It's something that I find absolutely fascinating. So that was one of the things that kind of gripped me for this book. And luckily, it does have a little bit higher ratings than Nano. This is also one of his newer books published in 2018, so I'm really curious to see what kind of new medical technology he touches on in this book. And next we have Outbreak. This was published in 1987, so it's one of his older work. It doesn't have a synopsis on it. It just has his picture on the back, and like there's really nothing telling me what this book is about. So I'm not really sure. And the reason I got it is because it is one of his like best known and well known and well celebrated works. And even though it is older, it is still definitely relevant. Next, I have two fiction books that my aunt actually gave me, and she is part of a book club, and I was visiting with my family a couple of weeks ago, and she decided to gift me two of the books that she had already read and thought, I would enjoy, and I don't get to see her a lot because she lives in a different state, but that was just really nice of her to do. And the first one is Commonwealth by Anne Patchett, and I have seen this book. I recognized the cover immediately. I knew that it was very popular at one time, and I don't know what it's about. To me, this book sounds like a family drama that is intergenerational. It spans 5 decades, and it starts off with this guy named Bert kissing one of the character, Franny's mother, and this leads to like a dissolution of Bert's family as well as Franny's mother's family, I guess because they enter into a relationship with one another and they were both, I guess, married. I'm not really sure. And I think this book chronicles just how that event kind of affected the, generations that come after them and this family, and it just kind of chronicles the family's relationship with one another and things like that. That's all I know about it, so if you guys have read this, you'll have to let me know how you liked it. Next is The Last Romantics by Tara Conklin, and this to me sounds like another family intergenerational type drama. It follows 4 siblings, Renee, Caroline, Joe, and Fiona, who come from a middle-class town in Connecticut, and they are super close siblings, and it follows their story because 2 decades after like the introduction to the story, the siblings are confronted with a crisis in their family that forces them to question the life choices that they've made as well as what they would do for love. So I've never read anything by this author, and it seems like something that I would read on like a slow summer day. And then we have Call of the Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. This is book 2 in the Tide Child trilogy. I read The Bone Ships, I think, earlier this year, and I really enjoyed it. It's a maritime fantasy, and I feel like there's not enough maritime fantasies out there. In fact, I made a whole video about it, which I'll link up in the cards, because I really enjoy seafaring type stories. But in this book, or in this series, dragons have returned to this world, but their return heralds war and destruction. We are following shipwife Mies and the crew of the Tide Child, which is this ship where basically convicts are sent to work until they die rather than going to prison. And in the first book, we get introduced to Lucky Mies as she takes, captainship of this ship and basically, turns all of these convicts around and makes them productive ship-faring folk. And they are hunting for this dragon. But like I said, the dragons have returned to this world. And with the reemergence of dragons, all of the Tide Child crew finds themselves involved in this plot of war and destruction. So, like I said, really enjoyed the first book, so I'm super stoked to have the second one in my possession. Okay, you guys, that is it for my November book haul. Let me know in the comments some books that you hauled in the month of November, or if you've read any of these and what you thought about it, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye!